Hello, welcome to Cook to Nourish. In today's episode, we are going to make chicken Kheema Burrito, which is grain free and dairy free. So, we start with 1 cup cassava flour. I use Anthony's Goods brand, and then we just need 2 tablespoons of arrowroot flour. Just a little bit. That arrowroot gives a little bit of crispness when you toast the burrito, and a quarter teaspoon of sea salt. And basically, the way you make the dough is very similar to my cassava tortilla one. So I'm going to add hot water. This water has been boiling until now, and then I'm going to add it slowly. So I'm adding like half a cup initially, and then little by little. I'm not adding a lot of it at once because I'm trying to not make it lumpy, so kind of adding a little bit at a time. And our goal is to get all of the flour, all of the dry flour wet. So you just keep adding little bits, but you have to work very fast. You have to work and make the dough all within under 5 minutes here, so that the water doesn't get too cold. So the water needs to be hot while you're making this dough. So here now the flour is almost wet, just for a little bit piece at the bottom. So just added a little bit more water. In all, I used about 1/4 cups of hot water. Next, we are going to make the filling, the keema, that's ground chicken. I'm using 1.5 pounds of ground chicken that has been thawed already to room temperature. And then I have some things chopped up here already. I have 1 cup finely chopped red onion, that's about 1 medium red onion, 1 tablespoon of fresh ginger, and 2 tablespoons of fresh garlic, and a couple green chilies as well. Now you can make this recipe completely AIP by avoiding all the non-AIP spices. But I like to eat a little bit of chilies now. And here I have 1 cup of finely chopped cilantro, fresh cilantro. And now we are going to add a bunch of different spices. Again, as I said, you can avoid the non-AIP spices. Now that's 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of red chili powder, and 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, and 1 teaspoon of garam masala, and 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. All these different spices is what makes the filling so delicious. It's basically the same spices that go into my chicken kebab. So if you've seen that video how I make chicken kebabs, it's almost the same spices. Now, but here, instead of making them as kebabs, what we're going to do is just kind of cook them just like that, the ground chicken, so that way you get kind of like scrambled, eggs kind of a texture. You can just, so initially make sure the pan is hot when you add the oil, and then you add the mixture and you keep stirring it. This is on medium heat, and then you just keep stirring it for about 2 to 3 minutes, because as you keep stirring it, you can see that the pieces, parts of the chicken are getting cooked, and it'll change texture. So just keep doing this for 2 to 3 minutes until the chicken is like not all raw, it's like half cooked. And then we are going to cover it and cook for about 5 minutes. So that has been cooking for 5 minutes now. And so this cooks pretty fast because it's already ground chicken, so it cooks very fast. So after 5 minutes, you can then keep it again open and continue cooking for another 5 minutes, stirring frequently in between. That just helps to avoid like big lumps of the chicken, and you get like nice small pieces of the mixture. And then finally, last 2 to 3 minutes, just continue cooking so that there is no like water and the mixture is completely dry, because the onions have a tendency to lose water. So that's why after cooking it covered, we need to uncover it and again cook it. Okay, so it's until the mixture is dry. Now while the filling is cooling, we make the burrito, or the tortilla for the burrito rather. So the dough that has been resting, divide it into about six equal balls, and make sure the dough is always covered as you're rolling the dough. So here I take a piece of that ball, and see how the dough is like really smooth and soft, and arrowroot does that to the dough. And then I'm using the same cassava flour for dusting. And now in this case, like, I'm making the tortilla a little bigger than the regular tortilla or roti, because we need to wrap the stuffing in it like a burrito. So I'm making, as you can see, a bigger tortilla. It's about 7 inches, 7 to 8 inches in diameter. And see, I'm trying to make it as thin as possible. So that's another thing. Try to make it as thin as possible. That way your burrito, once you cook it and wrap it, it will not be gummy. If it is thick on the edges, then it will tend to be gummy when it cooks. So try to make it as thin as possible. So here I have a frying pan that was already hot. Okay, make sure the pan is already hot when you add this. Cook on one side for about 1 full minute, and then when you flip it, this is what happens. So you will see like the other side puff up, and continue cooking on this side for another minute or so until you get brown spots on both the sides. And so it's about 2 minutes you need to cook, 1 minute on each side, and that's your wrap. Right, let it cool. I'm just going to show you another one. I just want to show you how it can fluff up so nicely. See, as it is heating up on the first side, you can see it actually puffing up. So, and then when it puffs up completely, you can flip it. So after you finish making all the tortillas, then it's time to assemble the burrito. Before that, I'm just making a quick tip here using this Primal Kitchen's buffalo sauce, and mixing it with a little bit of coconut milk so that it's gives you a little bit creamy texture. You can also mix it with coconut butter or cashew nut butter or cashew nut milk, whatever works for you and whatever you're okay with. The idea is to get like a creamy mixture. So I'm just adding the filling here. Make sure the filling is a little bit cool before you do this, so it's easier to handle. And then for the rest of the assembly, I'm adding some onion slices, some lettuce, shredded lettuce, and a few pieces of avocado. And then all you need to do is roll it like how you would roll a burrito. And then for sealing, because we are not using any cheese, that's why I made this sauce. You can also use any other, dairy-free mayo that works for you. And that way you get like a light seal. And then finally, I'm going to just toast it lightly. I like that when my, the outside wrap is toasty a little bit. So this is a step you can avoid, or you can even toast this in the oven. And there's it. Your burrito is ready. You can do a quick slice and serve it like that. And this will be a great snack or meal for your any kind of party or game day. So I hope you like this recipe. Do visit cook2nourish.com for more recipes, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.